are going to be able to live stream, which is really good today. So my thought process of that it had to do with what am I saying? That it had to do with who logged in first, who started first, is now, you know, a futile effort because it doesn't really make a difference. You know, that's it. It works.
So in other words, you're saying,
ladies and gentlemen, it works. Right. That's really cool. That's really cool. Very, very cool. So now if only I could figure out how to record this as well, that would be amazing. And then we would be good to go. Yeah, there we go. I could do it. Record to the cloud. All right. It looks like we're working. We're working, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages. We are back streaming live. Yes. Oh, great. Last week, believe it or not, I know I'm jumping ahead of myself. So let me go backwards to go forwards. Welcome to the 120th, you heard it right, the 120th meeting of the Mastermind Roundtable, where we discuss anything and everything that has to do with anything or everything, and sometimes not so much about what we're doing in our industry. But the whole concept of the show started out is that when we were going through the tough COVID times, so you know, how to survive the tough COVID times and basically how current events affects us. We still do the current events. We try to keep it not as technical, but I've had people call me up and say, hey, you know, you really need to focus in on the technical stuff. And I've had people say, hey, you know, it's too much technical stuff. There's a million shows. So basically, you know, one guy even had the nerve to say that I was too funny. I mean, really, I never heard that in my life. I was so on it. I'm like floating from that. You were too funny. So I like that. Anyway, welcome everybody. Remember, you make it happen. And so everything you hear today is an opinion. So just do your own research. And so we're off and running. Hey, let's have a good time. There you go.
Yep. Jan back in Thailand. And he's
Jan's back in Thailand. And if you haven't been following me on Facebook, you really should. And by the way, if you don't know how to follow me on Facebook, all you got to do is Google Jan Landy, and there will be a Facebook link. Do you know that I'm the only Jan Landy in the entire world?
I'm sure there's another one, but you're the most unique one, sir. How's that?
No. I am the only Jan Landy. I'm the only Jan. Google it. Don't take my word for it. Google it. You know, Google it. I'm the only Jan. As a matter, so I picked for
Kurt's
my title.
Doing it right now. Yeah, I see his fingers moving. You know.
You know, I mean, millions of pages. Not that I deserve it, believe me. You know, I'm a humble man, and I have a lot to be humble about. But in this case, I'm pretty proud to say that I am unique in the world. Not like you guys are not unique. I mean, everybody's unique in their own way, but I'm unique in a way that you could actually quantify it on Facebook. There you go. That's right.
Does that include pet names? Like, what if there's a Landy with a cat named Jan?
Well, you find out. You do. You know, by the way, in case you guys are noticing this thing, this is actually makeup because I am celebrating Gorbachev's passing. You know, that's it. In honor of Gorbachev, I put a little bit. No, actually,
and it's stuck.
I bopped my head. In an accident at an ATM machine. That was it. So, in case you notice it. So there you go. So, David, you were talking about before I so rudely interrupted you to start the show. You were talking about Japan. So talk about it.
I forgot what I was saying.
Oh, no, you're talking about the production team. I know you're kidding. Go for it.
So, all right. So I was saying that I'm going back to Japan to work with Yoshiki for the first time in 3 years on his classical show. He's got the full symphony orchestra, and he's got all the top people in Japan putting the show together. Udo and Claire Global. And I mean, when I go to do these shows, they're all there. The guy who owns Claire Global comes by. I mean, Claire Japan comes by to say hi. You know, all the top people, because of who Yoshiki is. I mean, he's the most famous entertainer in Japan, and people here just barely know who he is. So it's a big deal. As a matter of fact,
so you think you're going to get cohesion? You think you're going to get
I have CO12s.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I got a dozen on each side. This is a 5,000 seat auditorium called the International Forum, Hall A.
Right.
I've been there before with him, and I mean, it's just a great show for him. He Claire just does a great job of setting up the system. I just kind of walk in and go, and I've got a file from the last show I did there in the same room. So hopefully it's going to be pretty straight ahead for me.
Cool. I still think Myers would sound better, but Cohesion's, right up there.
He's been a Claire guy ever since the 80s with X Japan. So, they're very Japanese. They go with the biggest names in the business on whoever they are, which is why I feel so honored to be the guy mixing his sound. Because
well, David, am I correct that you're only mixing one element of his sound? Isn't that true?
You mean like the entire 60-piece orchestra and his piano and his vocal?
Or are you just mixing, because in the beginning, weren't you just mixing his piano?
No, never. When the very beginning was when he put his classical album out. When that came out and he went to #1 in 12 countries overnight. I mean, his fans were waiting for him to do that. But he's the rock drummer for X Japan, and this was something new. And then he went out and did a promotional tour all over the world, from Moscow to Beijing to London and Paris, and that's all over the place. And he hired the best people to work because of who he is. So he had Marty Hom, who's doing the Rolling Stones right now, to be his production manager, or his tour manager, and the guy who did the Eagles Pro Tools, and the guy who did just that. But they didn't know anybody who did orchestras, because when X Japan would work, all those same people would be doing the show, except he had Ozzy Osbourne's mixer, because that's the kind of music they were playing. But now they're doing orchestras. Well, actually, he started with 7 beautiful girl string players. Am I frozen? Yeah. Anyway, so that's what I did. It was his piano and a girl singer for a couple of the songs, and the 7 string players, 4 violins, a viola, and 2 celli. And listening to that music, I kept saying, this needs an orchestra. But that was his promo tour, and it was wonderful. That was in 2014. And then, I don't know, about a year and a half later, he wanted to play Carnegie Hall with a full orchestra. So he got all the charts come in, and speaking of who he hires, he had the Dean of Music at the University of Miami doing his arrangements. So, once again, top tier people. And he started doing it with full orchestras. So that's when I finally got my dream to come true, because mixed music is wonderful. So anyway, that's Yoshiki. Yoshiki classic.
We're feeding back somehow. I think, Kurt, that's you.
No, it couldn't be Kurt. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Usually me. Let me see if I turn off my mic, what happens.
Something he never does at a show. But I was under the impression that they hired you just to mix the piano. That's what I thought when the first time you went to Japan.
What you're thinking about. So he decides while he's doing the Yoshiki classical tour, he wants to put X Japan back together again and play Madison Square Garden. Because they've played Wembley, they played Coachella. He wants to play Madison Square Garden, which is the pantheon of arenas in the world, Madison Square Garden. So while he's doing the promotional tour, he's talking about how he's getting the band together again for Madison Square Garden in a couple of months. And he brings in his guitar player who plays electric violin also and all that. So now the tour is over or ending, and I know he's not going to hire me because he hires Ozzy Osbourne's guy to be the mixer. So I say to him, and I find out he's going to have a little section of his classical stuff. So he's going to bring the girls, the string players. So I said to him, Yoshiki, if you want, I'll help you out. Hire me. I'll get you your piano sound, and I'll get the string sounds, and I'll be there for, to help you out. And so he hired me. So Greg Price was the mixer, except for when we were doing the sound checks, and I put the piano mics on because that's one of the things I do really well. And by the way, he's the drummer in this band, but he also has a piano next to him up there to play. And I got the string sound, and once I got all of that, I just kind of walked around looking busy and got to enjoy X Japan at Madison Square Garden. But that's might be what you're thinking about, because that's all I did was the piano and the strings.
There you go. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So,
But
you know.
that was the ex-Japan show, not the Yoshiki Classical show.
Ah, there you have it. So now it's cleared up for me and for the rest of the world.
Now, one other thing that's interesting is that as a drummer, he's been spending his entire career doing this, and he actually wore out a vertebrae in his neck to where he was having problems with his wrists and all of that. So he actually had an operator on. They replaced his vertebrae with a cage. Very dangerous operation. They told him he'll never play drums again and all of that. But he had already stated that he was going to have an ex-Japan show. Well, now he wanted to have the show, but he was just going to play the piano on it. He could never play the drums 4 months after his operation. So he hired me to mix ex-Japan because there were no drums. So I actually got to mix an ex-Japan show, a bunch of them, which was really
Oh, there
cool.
you have it.
Yeah. So I mix ex-Japan, but most of the time it's Yoshiki Classical. And that's
very
the truth.
And
So
there you
how
go.
long's the tour, David?
And that is the facts, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to do a Google research for that. You know now. We've got it from the horse's mouth, per se. By the way, did you see my horses in my Facebook post of my horses in my front yard? We now have horses and ponies. They're back in the front yard, along with the geese and the ducks and the pheasants. Ah, man, I love it here. I love it here. Yeah, it's amazing. I've always wanted to live where I couldn't see a neighbor in front of me. You know, of course, it's you know, it's one of those things that I'm finally living a dream come true. But you know, it's raining like crazy here. I mean, it rains. This is we're getting into the high season. It's not supposed to be raining, but it's been raining every day. Every day it's been raining here. But at least it's not as bad as Pakistan, where a third of the country, could you believe it? A third of Pakistan, and one of the largest density populations in the world, a third of their country is underwater right now. A third. That's crazy.
Yep. Well, they've
It's
had
crazy.
so much drought, and you know it couldn't accept the water. You know, the ground couldn't accept the water. You know, that could happen in the West. You
Well,
know,
they're saying that there's going to be a huge flood in Central California. A huge flood. It's going to be like a once in an Earth kind of lifetime. That it's going to flood out the Central California. They're expecting it within the next 20 years. And of course, the heat, the weather is in the news right now. I don't think the weather has ever been in the news as much as it has these days. But, you know, you always say, hey, how's the weather? You know, how's the weather where you are? I guess it's a curiosity factor. But the reality right now is, like in California, for example, where they're having a heat wave, where David is, there is no air conditioning. People don't normally need air conditioning in California because the weather is so perfect all of the time. What's the weather like where you are, Dave?
Well, I'm in my office and my air conditioner is pushing, and even though it's, I guess, apparently small for the space, I thought it was big enough. My office is 91 degrees now. I can't cool it off any more than that because outside it's probably 97, 98 degrees. So
Yeah, you see, and I was just saying you don't have air conditioning in California, but David has proven me wrong once again, so do your own research. There you go.
Well, my house does not have central air. It's 100 years old, and we just don't want to deal with that. But my office, Myrna's office, and the bedroom have small air conditioners. So,
Yeah. You know, here in Thailand, it's very rare to find central air conditioning. They have what they call split systems, which
Right.
is they have a blower inside and they have the compressor outside. And I think that that's really efficient. When I went back to Las Vegas, I found that I had to cool the whole house, even though I wasn't using the whole house. It would have been much better to have the split air conditioning system in Nevada as well. But you know, but here you have every room has its own air conditioning, which is pretty efficient, very efficient, as a matter of fact.
well, that's what we did. 2 offices and a bedroom.
You know, there you have it. Kurt, what's it up like in Seattle?
77, clear, beautiful, blue sky.
Hey, do your own research, everybody. Google it. Don't take his word for it. I got to tell you, it
Not
can't be
illegal
that
to have.
bad.
Not illegal to have grass or water it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but wait till the rain comes, and then you'll be sitting back. Jan, I don't know whether you're following Kurt at all. Kurt is the most accomplished chef that I call him Chef Kurt. Some of the stuff, if you see some of the photos of what he cooks up, oh my God, it's mouthwatering.
Too busy lately, but it's fun when
Yeah,
I
you're doing a lot of shows. Everybody's working a lot these days.
yeah.
A lot of people I talk to right now, they would love to be here, but they can't, but they're watching it later. Just to give you an example, this week we had 176 views of last week's show. And that's pretty impressive because we didn't stream it. I just had to post it up. So they're watching it after the fact, which is really cool. To see that.
Well, we were following your travels across the world. That's what we were doing. You see, you should tell us that.
Keep that low key. I try to keep it low key, but maybe I should increase that. But,
so you flew through Frankfurt to get to Phuket?
That's right. Why go the quickest and direct route if I could go 11 and a half hours out of my way?
Yeah. I mean, what did you want? Frequent flyer points or what?
Well, let me put it to you another way. If you haven't booked a flight lately, you will find that not only, number one, are there not very many flights out there to be had, but you will find that the flights that are to be had are a little more costly than you remembered them to be. And as far as flying overseas right now, there's some major changes. And one of the most major changes is 3 of the major hubs that you would normally go through to fly from the United States to Asia are closed, and the 4th one is curtailed. So the 3 that you would normally go through would be Shanghai, Beijing, or Hong Kong. You would go through any one of those. And that would be, but all of those are closed right now to through traffic. I don't even know if they're open for domestic traffic because China just closed a city with 21 million people because 120 people had COVID. And they, believe it or not, they tested all 21 million people in 4 days. So, I mean, thank God we don't live in China,
Yeah.
But that's,
I ain't going back there anytime soon, that's for sure.
I don't know if you've seen pictures, but people were hoarding food because there was a lockdown in the city. 21 million people locked down because of about 100 people had COVID. That's crazy. But do your own research, Google it, you'll see it.
Yeah.
But the reality is, so I would normally fly. I mean, the best way to fly from Las Vegas to Thailand would to go through either Hong Kong or go with Singapore Air into Singapore, which is only an 11-hour flight. You stay overnight in Singapore and then you fly in the morning to Thailand. But they're waitlisted right now until November. I mean, you actually go up to their site and it says waitlisted. So for you to get a flight on Singapore Air, you have to be on a wait list. And that's kind of,
wow.
You need to be somewhere. Who wants to be a waitlisted person, right? No. I was thinking
go through Japan or Korea.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Haneda, boom, down. You can go Haneda to Phuket in a heartbeat. You don't even have to go through BKK.
Well, here's the deal. You have to go through Narita, and then you have to take a train. Now, I've never taken that train. Has anybody taken the train from? Yeah. So how long does it take, and what do you think of? I mean, is it like a seamless effort, or is
you
it
don't
really
have to fly
complicated?
you don't have to fly into Narita though. You can fly into Haneda, which is basically downtown Tokyo. It's a city airport in Tokyo, and it's I don't know whether you're a Delta person, but it's a Delta hub because it's cheaper than Narita. Narita is way out there in the sticks. But I've taken the train in, and I've had to do the transfer. It's, if you've flown in the Heathrow and had to change the Gatwick, it takes about that amount of time.
Now, let me ask you this question, seeing you're knowledgeable, and David, I know you've spent a lot of time in Japan as well. But the reality now, if you fly into, let's say, Narita,
Narita.
and then you take the train, do you have to
Right.
take your luggage with you, or does the airline move the luggage for you?
There's two ways to do it. Depending on your airline, you can book it all the way through, but they gotta have a baggage exchange agreement. It's similar to code sharing. I've from Tampa, I flew JetBlue to JFK, and then I flew Cathay to Hong Kong, and then on to BKK. They routed my bags all the way through, and
Yeah, but
so
that's not
when I
what
got
I'm talking about. I'm talking about Narita and
yeah, you're changing airports. It's like going between Gatwick and Heathrow. Yeah, you could check your bags all the way through. Your bags will probably make it before you do, depending on the traffic.
so how did they
So-
get the bags there? Did they put the bags on the train?
I have no idea. They do it. I mean, they.
So are you saying, Jan, that you would have flown into Narita and then out of Haneda?
That's right. That's what we would have. That's what they'd have to do. Sorry about that, guys. The challenge is that with COVID restrictions right now, they make it very difficult, and you have to, especially Japan just opened up, so you need testing and all of that stuff. I mean, that's why I could have flown into Korea, but I could have flown into Korea. I could have taken American Airlines into Korea, and then taken Korean Air to Bangkok, and then
Right.
but because I would have had to stay one night, I would have had negative COVID tests. I'd have to get some sort of clearance from the Korean government so that I could do that. It's not like it used to be, where it would be, you'd just stay in Korea for the night and then fly the next day. It's so much more complicated now, thanks to COVID.
Well, I'm flying from LA to Haneda,
Right.
Japan Airlines.
Right. And what are your requirements?
None.
You better check. You better check.
You mean as far as testing and stuff?
Yes.
No tests, no tests in Japan as of relatively recently. Just proof of vaccination is all I need.
Yeah, that's what I needed and it was, it was really complicated.
Yeah,
By the
but
way,
what
I have to say,
is that there was a flight from Western United States to Haneda, which means that you wouldn't have to make that change.
Right.
yeah, except that there was no other flight. There was no connecting flight.
What, the BKK out of Haneda there?
I didn't want to fly. You see, here's the challenge. I knew I was moving a lot of stuff. I had 140 pounds in my luggage, 70 pounds each.
And that's
to be lugging that kind of suitcases around was too much of a challenge for a small guy like me. I'm modest now, but I'm telling you.
Well, please tell me you flew business class.
Well, I would tell you that if you want to hear it. If that's what you want to hear.
Did
Now,
you?
actually, I was able to get a mileage ticket on United, and which was unbelievably expensive, 190,000 points. 190,
Right.
that's 190. That's crazy, Tor. That's crazy. But the last time I flew, I went through Doha, and that was a 16-and-a-half-hour flight, and I flew economy, and I swore to myself that I would never do that again. I would never
Right.
do that again. And so, it's crazy. And the ticket, if I would have bought that ticket, and do your own research, but I believe that ticket for cash would be
$9 grand.
$12,000.
Oh, wow.
12,000. That's US dollars. I mean, I'm not good with math, so I can't times it by 30 on how many bots that would be, but it would be crazy amount of bot.
Wow.
But anyway, so here I am, and I'm happy, but I still have my jet lag. I didn't real, you know, I've only been here for like 4 days, but it seems like I've been here forever. It seems like I never left. Actually, it seems like I never left, and you know, and yet I spent 60 days in Nevada taking care of all of the things that I needed to take care of, and very few things got done, even though I did a lot. It just is, it's crazy how much you need to do when you're doing what I'm doing. And yet, even though I got so much done, there's so much more to do. You know, a man's work is never done, nor is a woman's work never done, you know, for that matter, you know.
Yeah,
It's,
you still haven't given me a price on any of those tour jackets, Jan, you know.
well, you'll
even
have to
though
wait till I get back. You'll have to wait till I get back, you know.
All right. I don't want the real expensive one, the you know, that one you should keep.
Yeah, you know what? I think what we're gonna do is a little research on that one, on the T-Birds jacket.
Yeah.
I'm thinking what I'm going to do is, Tina had mentioned to me that the Olivia Newton-John jacket sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So
Right.
what I realized after the fact is that I should be reaching out to the people that sold that Olivia Newton-John jacket and go to them.
Absolutely.
That's what I should have done, but I didn't think about it in time. So right now, you know, that jacket is stuffed in the safe, you know, and I'm not giving out the combination. You can Google it all you want. You'll never get that combination, you know.
I'll take the purple one.
All right, you can have that purple one. You know, we'll make you a deal. You
Just
can't.
name your number. Don't be crazy.
Hey,
Listen, I'm mixing a rocket launch. All right. So, you know, so
there you
yeah,
go.
I
You're
ain't
almost a
making
rocket
big-
scientist now. You know, when people, you know, I like to tell, when people ask me what I do, I say I'm a rocket scientist. You know, and so
Yeah.
that's that puts my bar right there. You know, wow. You know, what kind of questions would you like to ask me? You know,
Yeah.
I'm a rocket scientist. You know,
How you miking up that rocket?
Oh, I tell you, I have 60 channels of you name the model of Neumann, I have them. And they're sacrificial microphones. I'm going to kill these microphones. They're all around in 2 rings of a parameter. You know, this is the Artemis one we're talking about. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, Wayne. It really is.
How far away are they?
The first ring is 1,800 feet, and the second ring is 4,000 feet. So
Is the first ring expected to survive at all?
none of them are expected to survive. You know, I mean, we're talking about a single point source, omnidirectional of, you know, in excess of 200 dB. So yeah, it's going to be
you're going to
fun.
be burning up a lot of quality microphones.
It might not exactly meet spec after that.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really crazy. They did a test. Digicos couldn't handle the A to D converters on Digicos, couldn't handle it. And so, you know, we went to Avid. I told them we should go analog. I know the console gamble. And they said, no analog. You know, we're all Matty. And then, you know, they have their private Dante loop for all the internal stuff. So
Is this for broadcast or who's the audience?
yeah, it's I'm a recording engineer for Smithsonian. So yeah, it will be for broadcast. Yeah.
Seems
And
like
Very, very cool.
do it with all of those different. I mean, how are you going to phase align all those microphones and?
well,
Not-
yeah, that's where
the giant cone
the
filter.
Avid comes in, because you know I mic group and then time unity set them per quadrant. You know, I have them set up in 8 quadrants, you know, and yeah.
Is this in surround or something?
Pardon?
Is this mixed in surround or Atmos or something?
Well, that's the goal. You know, first off, there's an aux out just straight, all channels, straight out, for somebody to do it in post. Then, yeah, I'm doing stems per each side for immersive.
Now,
So-
how do you simulate that so that you're not going to over distort, because you have like a one-shot deal when that rocket takes off?
Well, no, I mean, you can test it in it. You have an anechoic, chamber, and you can, take something and just wham it up. Anybody can make a 200 dB sound. It will sound like crap, but who cares? But it's all single pressure, and the rest is just math.
Mhm.
The big thing
So now let me ask you something. So what's the story? This is the Artemis that's going up around the moon for 45 days. It's not taking any human beings. It's just taking some plants that are going to be growing
no,
up in space.
and test mannequins, with all the sensors and everything on. It's a serious thing.
Now, what's happening with that? It was postponed again?
Yeah, it's postponed because of Saturday at 7:17 a.m. They were loading. All of the liquid oxygen was loaded, and they were starting to load the liquid hydrogen. And a seal. It's an 8-inch. It's an 8-inch tube. At 7 o'clock in the morning in Florida, it's about 79 degrees with about 70% humidity. And then here comes all this liquid hydrogen at minus 423 degrees Fahrenheit. So, yeah. Basically, the seal on the connection went, hey, excuse me, I'm not designed for this. And the leak wasn't detected until they got up to about 9%. And then
Well, they
of a sudden,
shouldn't have used seals. They should have used alligators, because alligators are tough. That's it. Seals can't handle that.
So they're trying to repair it on the pad as of today. My briefing this morning, they're and if they can't do it, they got to roll the damn thing back and to the vehicle assembly building, which has its risks all in itself.
Wow.
The thing is 374 feet tall, and when you start moving something like that around, the metal stress and all that kind of stuff can cause some serious problems. They're really smart people that are working on it, and they are so dedicated. I'm honored to be there. So
yeah, that's why I say I'm a rocket scientist. These are smart people. That's it. They didn't get that.
Oh, they're really good.
I'm this or that.
I'm telling you, it's for me to be walking. I'm on the second floor. For me to be walking around, with all these people, yeah, it's hallowed ground. I'm
You
like,
get to wear a white lab coat?
nope.
So you're not even in that classic category, right?
No. I got to wear a tie though. Me on a tie,
I should have
Guy
gotten you one
Bob
of those
almost had
satin
a heart
jackets.
attack when I told him I was wearing a tie.
Yeah, and one a clip-on?
Of course.
Okay, good. Yeah.
What else would an A4 do?
You need to find a tie that just has pictures of little white lab coats on it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I got to get you a satin jacket in time for this. I
can see me rolling in with one of my tour jackets. Oh yeah.
But did you know that they're using old rockets? I mean, the rockets they're using is the same rockets as in other words, they haven't replaced the rockets yet. The capsule is brand new, but the rockets are the old rockets that they used for the last couple of flights.
No, this is all new design. It's the largest. I mean, it's twice as powerful as the Saturn V. It's serious business.
Aren't the side tanks? They've been used before.
Oh yes, of course, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Rocket boosters, yeah. But those are the only two things. They're done in 12 seconds. The big orange main body, now that's the business. That's a noisemaker.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking. We're talking.
Yeah.
Anyway, they better hurry because the hurricane season right now is coming that way, and August was the first. I mean, things are changing. This is the first August ever that they didn't have a named storm. There was no named storm in August, which is really unusual.
Gotta love it. I tell you what, we're loving it. Keep those storms away. Keep on going to the Azores.
What's funny is that there's a storm off of Baja, Mexico right now.
Right. I saw that.
And so we're supposed to get rain in LA this weekend. And the temperature is going to drop about 10 degrees because it's going to be overcast. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, another thing that's unprecedented, and believe it or not, it hasn't happened yet, but of all the places in the United States, Chicago, a city called Evanston, they're planning on letting women go topless to the beach. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up, and here's the problem with that. When I lived in Rio, when I first moved down to Rio de Janeiro, everybody went topless, even the men, both the men and the women, everybody was topless, and the women wanted, they felt it was their freedom, right? And so the government had banned it. And so the women did this major march on the Capitol, so they allowed them to go topless back on the Rio beaches. And all of a sudden, you'd go to the beach, and at the very edge of the sand, there would be all these paparazzi. I mean, thousands of cameras taking pictures. And so all of a sudden, they stopped going topless because of that. So the same thing's going to happen in Chicago once they realize that that's going to happen. Nobody's going to want to.
But I tell you what, all the high school boys in Indiana and Illinois, they're beating feet.
Yeah. Well, anyway. So another thing that's really cool, and I know that you guys, if you go to McDonald's, Mickey D's is bringing back the cheese Danish. So they had it in the 80s, and now they're bringing it back. So if you're looking for a good cheese Danish, McDonald's is now servicing your cheese needs. For your cheese Danish.
Yep, that was a big topic on Robert's call yesterday. Because
unfortunately, I missed it. But if here's something that I don't know if you guys have. Does anybody have any gift cards? Did anybody ever get any gift cards?
For what?
Once in a while.
Do you know that Americans own billions of dollars in unused gift cards?
I bet.
Billions. They're just sitting there, and it's such a cool idea that you give somebody a gift card. And what I heard is that a lot of times, like let's say you give somebody a gift card for $25, and then they go into the store and they spend $23.98. Well, that rest of that money never gets used. But when you times it by millions of people, that's lots of money that the companies get to keep. Free money. I think the casinos started doing that a long time ago. That's why when you go into the casino, they take your money and they give you a chip. And a lot of people keep the chips as souvenirs.
Well, I tell you what, casinos are starting to do now. I just heard from a buddy of mine. The Cosmopolitan is that you have your ticket when you win on the slot machine or whatever. They're only going to pay you up to the dollar. You don't get the change anymore. The only way you can get your change, let's say you won $2,000.78. They'll give you that $2,000 out of the machine, but if you want that 78 cents, you got to go up to the cashier and give get your 78 cents.
Yep,
Craziness.
makes sense. Well, speaking of saving money, MoviePass, and David knows about this. If you haven't known about MoviePass is back, and they now are in Chicago, Dallas, and Kansas City testing the program, and soon they're going to roll it out everywhere. So,
but they haven't talked about what it is yet. They haven't described what you get for how much, right?
As far as I know, you're 100% correct.
Yeah, and they're always telling the people supposedly in those three cities what it's going to be. Of course, it's going to leak out. I mean, we don't find out until somebody tells us.
Well, it's big. It's going to be big news because everybody who ever used it wants to use it again because
Yeah,
it was really cool. Like I said, people would go to the movies, they'd see a movie, and then they'd time a scene that they wanted to see, and then they'd go back the next day just to see that one scene. But MoviePass was paying for the full amount of the movie. They were getting in for free, but to see that one scene again. But MoviePass was paying for the whole movie.
But I don't think that was anywhere near the majority. The majority of the people did what you're supposed to. But it was initially $10 for a movie a day. And then I think it went up to $30 for a movie a day, which is still cheap. But who knows what the new one's going to be. They can't do that. They've got to make it a little more financially feasible for them.
Yeah, they probably do. So speaking of financially feasible, there's another story that's Bloomberg is reporting on right now. And this seems so logical to me that it just seems to make a lot of sense. And I want to throw this out to the room. Bloomberg is reporting now that women that stay single and don't have any kids are getting richer compared to those that have kids and are not staying single.
Makes sense.
It makes total sense to me. I've got kids, and that's why I'm broke. Love y'all, but
Hey, Kelly, and I didn't realize you were a woman before. This is we're breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
well,
We're
no, I'm
breaking
talking
news.
about being broke. I'm not talking about my what sex I am. That's right.
Oh, there you go. There you
But
go.
there was that trip to Sweden. Came back with a ball.
Well, Thailand's the biggest place. If you want to go back, Thailand is the #1 place in the world.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Oh, is it really?
sex reassignment surgeries.
Wow. I guess you got to have an industry.
Yeah, that's it. That it's medical tourism at its finest.
Hey,
So
I know
speaking of
medical
medicine-
care in Thailand is inexpensive, by the way. It really is.
So there are a few things that really stood out in my mind in traveling between the United States and Thailand, and some major differences. Number one was the medical system. The medical system in Thailand is, I hate to say it like this, guys, but it's so far superior to that in America.
It
Yet
is.
the money in America is greater. There's so much more money in medicine, so that in the United States, the research and development that takes place in the United States really sets the pace for the rest of the world. Like for example, when hepatitis, I remember this really well, when hepatitis C became a very popular disease that people were getting it, in the rest of the world, you would have to take a pill a day for 30 days. In the United States, they had one pill that you'd take once a week for 2 weeks, and you would get rid of you'd get rid of your hepatitis C. But that pill was $70,000 a pill. Whereas, it was more affordable in the rest of the world, but it was guaranteed to work. Whereas the one pill a day for the 30 days may or may not have worked. That's just one example. But I went back and I wanted to get a physical. I wanted my doctor to see the physical results that I took here in Thailand. So just to give you a recap of it, I went to the hospital with no appointment, got there at about 9:30. It cost me $100 to get 9 pages of blood work done, a stool sample, a urine sample, a chest x-ray, and an EKG. And I brought that. Now I went back to the United States. First of all, I had to make and also they threw in a free lunch. That's all for $100. $100. I got to the hospital at 9:30, and I with no appointment, and I was out of the hospital with the lunch and everything by 12:30, and a 45-minute consultant with the doctor. Now I go back to the United States. I call my doctor. I need some prescriptions. I need some prescriptions filled. They refused to fill the prescriptions because I hadn't been there in a year. And so I had to go into the office. So I made an appointment, and the earliest appointment I could get was 30 days in advance. 30 days. I got to so it was a big fight, but they finally gave me the prescriptions over the phone, and only for the 30 days. I get in to see the doctor, right? And now, basically, she looks at these reports and says, "You're in perfect condition. You don't need me," which is great. So now I hurt my knee. Same thing. Got to make an appointment with the orthopedic. All right. So he says you need an MRI. I had to get an appointment I had to get an appointment for the results of the MRI. They wouldn't tell me the results over the phone. I had to actually, so that the doctor could make more money for me to go into the office. Here in Thailand, it wouldn't be anything like that. I need a prescription. I walk into the pharmacy, I tell them what's wrong with me, and they write the prescription right then and there and fill it. And if I only need 5-day supply, they only give me 5-day supply. They don't give me 30 pills. They give me 5 days of pills. And then so the medical system and the pricing is so much less here than it is there. The other thing is food. It seems here for $30, I could eat for a full week. Me and Bo could eat for a full week. $30 there, I was able to get a snack, at Sprouts. It seemed like it was one night of food. So the value of being in Thailand, of course, it is a third world nation. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But there are some benefits, like my cell bill is $6 a month.
Holy cow.
What's my cell bill in the United States is $120 a month.
Crazy.
Yeah. Hey, Kelly,
so
I have
there
a
are some
question
benefits.
for you.
Yes.
Have you heard from any of your clients how the heat is dealing with RF at all, or is there any interference?
Nobody's said anything. I would think that obviously it's that there would be
Physics,
some
but-
interference, or there would be some change of environment. So it would affect RF, and certainly daylight to a certain extent, affects RF and how far it can go.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're talking about short distances, so it's but the heat's just miserable.
Yeah, of course. But what it does, it just kind of slows things down. You know what I'm saying, from a physics standpoint.
Right. Except for the ants. The ants go crazy.
Yeah.
They're going crazy up and down the street. I swear to God.
The ants will get crazy. The ants will get crazy if it rains outside as well. But you don't have that problem in California right now with rain. But it is hot.
Thanks, Kelly.
It definitely is
You're
hot.
welcome.
One other thing I wanted to let you know that they're now projecting that COVID shots, they have the new COVID shot that's going to be virus specific, which should be released out there. Of course, they won't have it here in Thailand, but they will have it in the United States. And the other thing, they're now saying that COVID shots are going to become like flu shots. It's going to be an annual thing. And I hate to say this, guys, but if you don't have your free tests right now, the federal government is going to stop giving free tests out. And also, they're going to stop giving free shots out. So get your shots right now if you need it. Otherwise, you're going to have to use your health insurance to get the shots.
Yep.
So
I'm scheduled for Monday for mine.
That's a public service
You don't
tip.
mess around with that.
No,
you just.
I've had so much. So I've had all the shots now.
By the way, the booster shot is, you don't even feel it. You just don't even feel it. It's a very small injection, and it takes about it takes like just boom, it's over and done with. You don't even know you've been injected.
Yeah, I already got 3 in me right now. What's another one? And I'm going to get my flu shot at the same time and my shingles shot at the same time. So,
I have to tell you, I had the Shingrix shot. And I would not get them at the same time, Greg, because that Shingrix shot is one painful shot.
It
It's a
is.
huge
I
deal.
know.
I've had it too.
You definitely will feel it for a couple of days in your arm, and you will definitely feel it going in and out when they give you the injection. It is a big shot. So I highly
Well, the
recommend
rocket ain't launching this month, so I'm fine. I have no other gigs between now and then. So, and although I'm a human mic stand on September 25th at Raymond James Stadium for the Bucks game. So, you'll see me on the sidelines.
Actually, I saw the advertisement on NBC. They were advertising you as the human shield to come and
human
watch
mic
the
stand. Human mic stand. I don't know who called me that. Somebody did. I think it was Fred. Fred Dumajeri. I'm one of those guys with the little parabolic. Hey, it's fun. you know, it's the NFL and it's you know, it's a good gig. So
Yeah, well, it cuts down on your dementia. That's all I could say. Cuts down on your dementia.
It keeps his mind busy.
Yes.
So it
You
doesn't
know,
wander.
by the way, there's a new study out. There's a new study out that says that if you walk a number of steps, and we'll throw the link in the chat, that if you need to walk between 3,800 and 9,800 steps each day to reduce your risk of medical decline, according to a new study that's put out by CNN, and it's the Wellness Center, I believe, that out of somewhere in Europe. So
I got that.
yeah, but anybody in the music business, we already do that. Just going up and down the ramp to the truck. My goodness, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, I did. I try to do between 15 and 20,000 steps a day.
Yeah, cool.
It's not easy
Greg,
some days.
you mentioned you're doing this rocket launch for the Smithsonian.
Well, no, it's I'm a recording engineer, and part of it is going to be Smithsonian's going to pick up, pick up the tracks, you know, and they'll probably post mix it. I don't know, but yeah, I'm the recording engineer. Yeah, for Artemis 1.
Oh, very good.
I'm
Well,
one of
listen.
3. I'm one of 3.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. I'm telling you what. And I have no idea how I passed the security clearance.
Probably is because a night Bob gave you a recommendation. That's probably what it is.
The things you did in the
So
70s, and they
came
couldn't
up.
even dig them up.
Greg, you need to get some wireless from Kelly to put on the capsule.
There we go. There we go.
We should talk.
Nope.
You know, that
Oh,
sounds like a
no.
good press release to me.
Yeah.
Man.
By the way,
Yeah.
speaking of gear, and I don't normally like to bring this up, but Kurt ordered some Wave servers, the Extreme server, in April, and he just got them delivered today. So actually, congratulations.
Yeah.
Now you have a full Waves package
Do they turn
that you
on?
can rent out.
I forgot why I wanted them.
Do they turn on?
It was so long ago.
I didn't even open the box yet. I had too many other things to do today, but I saw them and brought them in and put them inside the shop, and I'll get to it later.
Well, here's another good bit of news. I've sold some S6Ls, some Avid S6Ls, and they are shipping this month. They are.
Wow.
I've been told
How-
that they're
when did you
shipping
order
this
them?
month. And another thing that really impressed me is Christie projectors are now shipping. So the supply chain issues are starting to disappear.
We're at
Wow.
Electrosonics. We're done with all of the redesigns, and we're just filling back orders now. And there's a hell of a lot of back orders. So it's. I mean, we're shipping again, and it's great. Honestly, it's nice.
When's the price increase?
What's that?
When's the price increase?
We've already had 2. So October, we do it in April and October, and I don't know. There will be a few things that get raised in price, and there's a couple model number changes that are happening, and then we have the new DSR and DSR4 coming out. So that all comes out in October.
So how does that impact warranty and stuff like that? Let's say you've got one with the old chip that's still under warranty and you need it fixed.
Still under warranty. We'll figure that out in the shop, I suppose, and that every case is different. So
Yeah, most manufacturers will deal with warranties in a good way.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I mean,
Yeah, but if you can't get the chip
it's their
and the
name,
chip's
it's their
wrong.
brand name.
Well, I mean, you know, Kurt, what sometimes happens is you have to say, okay, well, we can't fix that because that part's not available. So here's a used one, something like that.
Right.
But anyway, I want to ask Ken Porter, what's going on with you as far as, like I said, I'm seeing things starting to ship now. How from the brands that you carry, on the big name brands, how are they holding up as far as their shipping schedule goes? Are you seeing more orders coming through your door now?
We're seeing a little bit more. I saw something trickle in from Yamaha last week. I had a PM3 and 192 DSP EX, no, the EXRX, whatever engine, big engine. Although I did get a notification that they're going to have a price increase, but effective from the day that the notification came in, you couldn't order anything at the old price. They held all orders. So
Same
what-
with Avid. Avid is raising their prices as well. We're going to be getting a new price increase on that as well.
Yep, we got that. That's why I order Avid stuff before they stop taking orders.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jan,
And so-
but there's a production company there in Bangkok you should probably look into. They're Avid Meyer. Yeah, they're the only one in Thailand who has Avid and Meyer. And
Well, let's give them some free advertising. What's their name?
I don't remember it. Otherwise, I would have mentioned it.
Oh,
You're
there
an
you
Avid
go.
fan, though.
I'll remember that.
No, you should look into it. Yeah, that would be a good side hustle.
So the company's
You know,
called I
from there.
Don't Remember It. Otherwise, I would have looked into it.
I'm an avid fan of Meyer.
There you go. See, Kurt's on the same page that I am.
Yeah, I know. Okay, Jan, you mock me. I'm just gonna.
He's not
mute
mocking you. He's
myself
having
now.
fun with you.
Which one of you is Laurel and which one's Hardy?
That's it.
Three
Well,
Stooges.
because I'm thinner, I must be Laurel. That's about it.
Oh,
That's it. That's all there
He's
is to
done
it.
now.
Isn't that right, Ollie?
Snap. There.
So what's going on, Ken? What's new and exciting in the world of Ken Porter? What's happening
Stuff
over
started
there with
coming
you?
around, just too much stuff going out the doors and trying to make sure we keep it all together and people are getting really burnt out. There's too many people working too much, they say.
Yeah.
But I can remember
As
the
long
old
as you don't
days.
run into an iceberg like, the Titanic did, you'll be fine.
I can remember the old days. I was thinking back the other day is that we're still in the midst of fair season. And I can remember back in the early 80s when pretty much the month of August into the middle of September, I was only home for 4 days and pretty much was driving a truck and setting up PA and mixing and driving a truck, setting up PA and mixing. And it just went on. This was the terrible time of the year usually. And everybody's complaining because they've only been home a day or two a week.
Well, it seems to me that right now people should really appreciate working. And I mean, but people have a short memory. They just have a short memory of what it was like to sit around doing nothing. And unfortunately, I don't have that memory. Or I have that memory and I never want to be sitting around doing nothing again like that. It was a rough time for all of us.
You know what I think is cool, Jan, is I'm looking at Kurt's background. And he has a Gamble EX56 with a lava lamp on either side. Now, that's a console.
That's an
There you go.
H4.
And well, Kurt, I have actually 4 lava lamps in Las Vegas. And now I know where I'm going to send them when I go back to Las Vegas and move. You'll be getting, and they're all purple, by the way. They're all purple lava
they're going to
lamps.
the Pacific Northwest.
It's the magic
Yeah.
plug-in for mixing. Can't mix without it.
Yeah, well, we're getting to that time where we only got 4 minutes left of airtime before we say goodbye to those people that we're streaming to. I just wanted to mention one of the things. I mentioned the Titanic really quickly, but there is a really cool 8K video right now that's running on YouTube.
Saw that.
It's called Ocean Gate Runs Expeditions to the Titanic, and basically you could actually buy a ticket if you wanted to go to the Titanic and dive on it. I guess it's 400 nautical miles from Newfoundland, but it's 2.4 miles under the surface. So I think they have a submergible that goes down and you can see it yourself. But the 8K video is very, very impressive. And we'll throw the link in the chat on that as well. So you guys can take a chance on looking at the Titanic underneath water. It's amazingly clear. I don't know why people are still fascinated by the Titanic. It's so long ago. So that's about it. Anyway, let's open the room to anybody who's got anything they want to say, and then we'll close it on. We'll close it down with maybe somebody's got a good story that they want to tell.
Well, I just wanted to say, Kurt, I may be coming your way come February. So I'm headed to Bhutan. So via Bangkok, I might see if I can convince Jan and Bo to come off the island and come down to BKK for a day. But yeah. Can I give you a ring of point source?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
Get your food order in now.
Get your
Yeah.
food order in.
Yeah, get
So
your
why-
food in, or he's got to order from his micro delivery of organics, so that you
Hey.
only eat the best.
Yeah,
Chef
I was going to
Kurt.
say, as Jan knows, because I saw him last week when I was in Las Vegas, I suddenly had this hearing loss issue where my hearing just went away. And I just want to mention that, to all sound people out there, if that ever happens to you, immediately go to the doctor. Do not wait. Immediately go to the doctor and get prednisone.
What was it? Oh, what was
I
that?
have an infection in my cochlea in my right ear.
Hey, this is a family show. This is a family show. Cochlea.
I know. Well, so, but I'm just saying, I think it's important for people to know that how important, you immediately go, as you know, Jan, I went to the emergency room at, I was up in Las Vegas and I went to the emergency room at University Medical Center and they put me on.
Oh, I
60
actually
milligrams.
did not know that. This is the first I'm hearing that. I did
Yeah,
not know.
yeah. So they put me on 60 milligrams of prednisone. And since I've been back, I've gone to the House Ear Institute. They put prednisone directly in my eardrum. Now it's just, it just kind of flustered into this thing. But all I'm saying is go immediately, because that's everything I see says, you've got 72 hours. And thankfully I did, and my hearing's coming back now. So, but you've only got 72 hours, so make it happen.
How do you get-
Yeah.
Well, you only have one body. You better take care of it.
Absolutely.
That's all you got is one body. And
Did it
I will tell
completely
you
go
that-
away? Or just like when your ears are plugged, like with water? kind
But
of?
sounds like I still, when I wake up in the morning, it sounds like my head's underwater, that earplug kind of feeling. But basically, I lost everything from about 3,500 hertz down, just went
Wow.
away. And and the weird thing is I was not only up there for electro business, but I was up there to play a gig at Gillies. So I played Beethoven style at Gillies. I had everybody do hand signals, like this on the guitar, so I could see what's going on. We made it, and they invited us back. We're playing
You're a
weekends at
drummer.
Gillies
What do you
now.
need to hear for? I mean, really, I didn't know. You're a drummer. It's not like you have to hear.
How do you
I
get
don't.
infection in your cochlea?
I'm sorry, what?
How do you get an infection in your cochlea?
I have no idea. I just
And
woke
really,
up.
what is a cochlea anyway? Just
Cochlea is the nerve center where it wraps around, and that's where the vibrations hit, and then actually transmit to your brain and says it's going to sound like this.
That's the
That's a
fluid.
very
It's filled with fluid, and that's where the hairs are that
exactly.
translate into audio.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a
think
diet
it's
cochlea
tainted
just the
Lake
other day for
Mead
lunch.
water. That's all Kelly, I think it's tainted Lake Mead water, I mean, it's so far.
Yeah, I don't think it was the water. And actually, I just spent $5,000 on a water system for my house, so it's not the water here. It damn well better not be.
It's because
That's
your
insane.
overheads were equidistant from the snare drum.
Oh.
You were caught in the
Kurt-
zone. That's what.
Yeah, Kurt saw one of my pictures, and the sound company had actually, they were kind of like off at an angle. It's like, oh, I didn't even notice. I was so busy with playing the drums. So,
Well,
but
that's
it sounded
cool.
good.
I think you just put me in the mood to have a diet cochlea for lunch. That's what
Very,
I like.
oh, seriously, folks, try the
Oh.
veal.
Bad. This is the time to cut the recording now.
I think we're-
Anyway,
It's
anybody
time for
else want to
people
tell
to
a
turn
story?
off.
So David's going to Japan. Kurt, what kind of shows you got coming up?
Oh, let's see. We've got a bunch of stuff at the WAMU Theater, like where the Seahawks play, and I've got 2 or 3 corporates this week. And then I got to send Panther to Vegas for something I worked out with Maxon. So hasn't quite slowed down yet.
Cool. Ken, what
It
kind of
doesn't.
shows you got going out?
Let's see. I have a lot of tours out. We got the Outlaw Tour is leaving this week. Kelsey Ballerini is leaving this week. Outlaw is Willie Nelson Tour. He's still at it at 89 years old.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Whiskey River is the first song every night. Has been that for 30 some odd years. I can't remember who else I got. The Killers out. I got Aldine, Thomas Rhett. Got way too many things I can't remember anymore.
Are there any are there any like religious kind of tours going out right now? Do you have any of those?
Well, I got, 1R has Need to Breathe opening, and they're kind of religious. I have, oh, what's his name?
What about the Harvest thing? Is that are you still doing that?
That's November 5th and 6th at Anaheim Stadium.
That's a big show.
Yep, that's, 47,000 people in 2 nights, each night. So
Wow.
yeah, got that going on.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, it's a lot happening, just trying to stay ahead of everything. But, there's some stuff starting to move. You're talking about coming back to the stuff. There is some stuff starting to move, but it's not moving really fast. It's some things of how, the problem is with speaker manufacturers is you got to have amps with speakers, or else it's really hard to deliver a person speakers and not have amps to run them is a problem.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Hey,
It's like
Wayne
calling
down there in
Vince and
Australia,
begging.
what's going on with you? How you doing? You have any shows coming up?
I did a couple on the weekend, but I haven't got any coming shortly. But I do have there's a band going to Nashville very shortly from the Australia land, and the drummer in the band, who I know very well, lives in Wagga, and they'll be there next week. And I think they're in Nashville for a couple of weeks.
Playing a tour or something, or the recording, or what are they doing?
Well, I think they're doing shows. They're quite successful in the country music market here in Australia. So Fanny Lumsden is the artist, but the whole band's going. And I told the drummer to come and knock on Spectrum's door and say
There
hello.
you go. Well, it's a big door to knock on. I mean, it's easy to find. It's a great company down there in Nashville. They are in the heart of it all. And if you want to know what's going on in the heart of Nashville, Ken Porter is the man on the street for us, everybody.
They have beautiful offices.
I'm
Very,
gonna-
very
From
nice
the
offices.
airport.
I'm going to be in Nashville the end of September.
Doing what?
Oh, yeah. Well, they might be still.
I'm going to visit. I'm doing Memphis for a couple of days and Nashville for 4 days. And then
The Elvis
Elton John's
thing, and
on the 2nd, and my friend Alan Richardson is his monitor guy, so I'm going to go see Elton John. And I'm going to be in Nashville, Ken.
Wow.
Cal will come visit.
Time for some hot chicken, y'all.
That's
I'd
it,
pick it
man.
up.
Remember to have some barbecue. I mean, I went to this barbecue joint with Ken, and I still think I still smell from that barbecue. That's how barbecuey it was.
Sounds like
It
good
was
barbecue.
unbelievably barbecuey.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
what
with that
Bo
in
said.
mind, listen, I just want to say thanks a lot for coming, everybody, and thanks for watching. If you're watching this pre-recorded, you can pre-recorded. It would be post-recorded. You're pre-recorded. You would be in the room. So if you want to be in the room, you're more than welcome to join us. You know how to find me, and if you don't know how to find me, do the research yourself. Because everything you heard today was an opinion. Next week will be our 121st meeting, so be here and come and join us. And with that, I'll say you make it happen. Unless there's anybody else here that's got anything that they want to share to the streaming media world, now would be the time to say it.
Stay healthy.
Stay healthy. Remember, you make it happen, and we will see you again next week. And thanks for watching. And I really appreciate everything. I mean, 120 episodes of anything is a lot, and so I'm very honored that you guys are still in my life and you're following us, and you're allowing me to do my thing, whatever it might be. One day I'll figure it out myself. But thanks a lot for coming. And with that, just remember, if you want to be part of the show, you can just DM me any way you want. And till then, you make it happen. Stay safe and sound.